Yes.
Your faith is very important to you. You've been very open about that. You wear your cross necklace there, most of your White House press briefings and other appearances on camera. But you know, it's stark to me that the world of politics, especially campaign politics, which can be so ugly and nasty at times, seems to, Kayleigh, conflict in a lot of ways with what we as Christians are supposed to reflect and project, the love of Jesus. How do you reconcile those two worlds?
Yeah, it is. Politics certainly does oftentimes descend into, mano a mano, if you will, attacks. And I think that we've got to continue to look at each other through the lens of Christ. And, for me, I find my home in the Republican Party because I'm someone who's very pro-life and believe in religious freedom, and that party houses my values. But politics isn't perfect. Only the world of faith is, and the domain of Christ and heaven. And I do the best I can to try to put forward a message of grace and love and compassion. I try to bring that to politics as much as I can. But certainly, you're right to say that we should endeavor to bring that political discourse to a higher level because I think we would all be behooved and better off for it.
And you actually started a weekly Bible study with Trump campaign staffers. How was attendance?
Oh, it was good. We got a few weeks in there before the pandemic hit, and we had, I would say, probably 2 dozen at our first meeting, and it went to about a dozen, and then the pandemic hit, and we started doing Zoom, like we're doing now, Bible studies, and it was a great opportunity for young men and women to come together, to bring our faith to the table, and try to keep that central, because as you said, the political world can often descend into a bit of chaos. So to have that as kind of our center goalpost each and every, I think it was Friday we did it, was a really meaningful thing. And after I left, my sister kept it up. I left to go to the White House, and my sister kept it up on the campaign.
Did you ever speak with President Trump about his faith or share your faith with him?
I did, at the very end of the administration there, when the days got tough, certainly in the wake of January 6th, I just told him that I was praying for him and that I had him on my heart. And, I was open about that. He certainly knew where I stood and appreciated that I was a person of faith. And I think that it's one of the reasons he gravitated to me and really liked me and thought I was a good person and a person that served him well and served his administration and the movement of 75 million people well.
Did he ever share his faith with you?
No, I think the president, he was always about getting down to business. We didn't really talk about his faith. He certainly is a Christian. I know that. Beyond that, we didn't really get too much into the personal, but he was someone who was always all business all the time, except the few times, and they were, I say few, but semi-regular times that he would often ask about Blake and my husband and my family, which said a lot about him. His very first, when I took the job, his very first words to me is, "Your daughter going to be okay?" And I said, "Yes, she'll be just fine," which meant a lot to me.
Has he stayed in touch with you post White House?
He has. He calls me, every few weeks, and I call him, and we keep in touch because in addition to being a boss, he also became a friend to me, and we will continue to stay in touch every few weeks here. We'll see what his future holds.